Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we are back live here on a Friday evening. How are you all doing out there? And I want to talk tonight mainly about not only our draft picks, but how I think we're going to integrate them into the roster and how the roster has changed since the last time we actually took a look at it. We're also going to talk a little bit about some Raider news that came out and some rumors. And then I'm going to throw it to you guys, and I want to hear what you have to say in our question and answer segment. I see a few people already in here. TGIF, I see you, Sandy B. Welcome to the program. I enjoy that. How are you doing out there? You also said, oh, I like the beginning with all of your channels. You notice that, huh? I made a little bit of difference there if you're old school here and you've seen that. But if you aren't and you are watching this on a replay, why not subscribe to the channel right now, especially if you enjoy what you're going to see right now. We're going to go through our rundown, our list of activities that we're going to go through. And if you do enjoy it, hit that like button. Also subscribe and then hit that bell notification to ensure you are notified of all future live streams. I see a few other people in here. I want to say hello to you as well. We're going to get right into this right now. And what we do, if you are new here, if you are watching this on either right with us right now live or you're watching this on a replay, what we like to do is we go over what we call our rundown right here. So you can take a look at this. These are the topics we're going to talk about. We normally have these and they vary. Of course, we're going to talk about mainly what's happened the post-draft and how the roster is kind of shaping up right now. Of course, we don't know the final until we get to training camp and all that. And then I turn it over to you guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. If you have any questions, that's the best part of this. We have our dialogue. We go back and forth and any kind of new ideas. I appreciate that. So let's get right to this. We're first going to
take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
All right, first, I came up with this concept a couple shows ago. It's called the New Champions. I want to salute those who have subscribed to the channel recently. Now, obviously, I can't have everybody on there because not everybody is set up to show who they've subscribed to, but a few of you are, and I want to go over that right now and say thank you very much to the following people here: ZB, Carlos, Dead Mike, Jesse Marsh, Murda Plays, and Silent Lucidity. Again, there were a few more of you as well since our last time, and I want to say our count right now is at 785. Pretty good. Should be getting a little bit higher, but that's fine. Let's spread the word. Let's go. And like I said, that's why I encourage you guys to hit that thumbs up button if you do enjoy this, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. And you can have your name up here too in our next segment. So let's go right to what we usually do. And I usually put out a poll of the week. And this time it's a post-draft poll. And I asked, which of our draft picks do you think will be the most impactful in 2022? And the majority of you said our first pick, Dylan Parham, guard/center combination here, who we picked with our first pick, 90th overall. I'm going to have to say this guy right here is Zamir White. We moved up to get him. We did not exercise our fifth-year extension on Josh Jacobs. To me, that's telling me if we're not going to trade him, then he's going to be gone anyway. So I think this guy, I know he had the 2 ACLs, but that was before he even got into a game in Georgia. So he's played 3 seasons, no issues with the knees. I don't see an issue with it. And also Neil Farrell Jr. was already here, got some votes. So Earth Daughter, I see you in here. Hi, how you doing? We're just going through our poll of the week like we normally do. And just going over what you guys voted for. And like I said, I would go with Zamir White here. I think he's going to be our future RB1. Let's go over some Raiders news and a little bit of rumor mill going on. So first thing I want to talk about is Trayvon Mullen. He did have some surgery. Nobody's really talking about what it was. The only thing I could see out there was quote unquote minor surgery. And here's a clip from his Twitter account saying, no worries, successful surgery. Thanks to all who won. Also want to thank, I think he put thank, but I want to thank my negative supporters as well. Be back better than ever. I hope so. Again, we don't really know what's going on. Maybe it's related to the toe injury he had last season that took him down for the rest of the year. I'm not so sure. But that said, he's our cornerback one right now. And, you know, we had an article I found here by Chat Sports. I call them the kings of clickbait. I've had videos about them before. And they're talking about us trying to go after James Bradberry, who's currently under contract with the New York Giants. He's on his last season. I don't think he wants to re-sign. And the Giants may even just cut this guy altogether. He's due to make $13.5 million this year. But the Giants would save $10 million in cap space if they just went out and cut him. They might try to trade him too. So the Raiders might be interested in, you know, as I usually do. This is something I can believe, to be honest with you. I don't have full faith and confidence in Trayvon Mullen as our top corner. He's been hurt, and, you know, frankly, his play is kind of hot and cold, to be honest. I don't think he's secured that spot. We get a guy like Bradberry. He played the heck out of us, and he got 2 interceptions in the game last season. I think he'd be a welcome addition. Of course, Patrick Graham, our defensive coordinator, was their defensive coordinator last season, so it makes sense. You know, when you have coaches move, they tend to poach a few players back into, because they know the system and all that. Would make total sense. I think right now, as far as the cap goes, we're going to be saving about a little over $20 million once we get rid of Littleton and Nassib. We'd probably have about $5 or $6 million of space. Now, keep in mind, we do have to sign our draft picks as well, so we'd probably have a few million there. But I think we could go 10 to 15 million. We could find the room for this guy, and it makes complete sense to me. Now, the other one I want to talk about, and it's no rumor, Raiders actually came out and said, we have waived Trey Vegas, and, you know, my thoughts on that, it's understandable. I rooted for the guy, undrafted free agent last season, came on from Louisiana, looked pretty good, kind of a fringe roster player. He was cut by us originally, then brought back on the practice squad. He was actually in the game, I believe in the Chiefs game, but like I said, kind of a fringe player. And now that we drafted those 2 running backs, and then we got another guy, undrafted free agent, so it kind of makes sense that we would not be going, you know, keeping Trey Vegas with us. So now I want to talk about what we came here to talk about, and I want to look at our roster now post-draft, now that we have all the draft picks in, and kind of I'm going to give you a flavor of what I think where players are going to be. Again, this is a little bit early, I understand that, but let's get right to it. Now, if you haven't looked at my original post-draft player reviews, they're about 2 minutes a piece. I urge you to go do that. I have them on there already. I have links in the description as well if you want to take a look at those after the live stream. Go right ahead. I went into each and every one of them, but as I normally do, like with my game reviews and previews, we start on the defensive side. It might be a little bit hard to follow, so this is our front 4. This is our linebackers, our safeties, and our corners. The ones that are in silver are the ones that are retained for over at least 1 year or more. These are on the last year contracts like Farrell. And then these guys have departed. Now, to update from when I did this about a month ago, Quentin Jefferson signed with Seattle. Solomon Thomas moved on, went to the Jets, signed like $2.5 million 1 year deal. That's about half of what he got from us. And Keyshawn Nixon has moved on and signed with the Green Bay Packers. So I think those are the ones. Plus, and then these ones in white, these are free agent pickups. I'm not saying they're all going to stay with us when we get to our 53-man roster, but that's the way it shapes up right now. And let's add our 2 defensive draft picks here. Matthew Butler from Tennessee, we talked about, and Neil Farrell Jr. from LSU. Basically a nose-type tackle to back up Jonathan Hankins, who we also re-signed. And overall, it looks pretty good, I would say, with the exception of corner. And that kind of gins up that same interest with the James Bradberry rumors. It really kind of makes sense because, again, Rockyasin would be our other guy. I don't see either one of these as a true cornerback one yet. They can prove me wrong. I don't see it. And getting a guy like Bradbury who knows Patrick Graham's system here, again, would just make total sense. Now, as far as the offensive side of the ball goes, same thing. This is our front five. Now, if you've noticed, I moved Alex Leatherwood since our last time out to right tackle because Josh McDaniels said he's going to give him every opportunity to earn that starting spot for which he was drafted at. And I take him at his word. So I put Denzel Good right now. That's tentative because we could very well cut him and save $4 million on the cap, especially since, you know, we drafted a couple of guys who could play guard. Parnham is a kind of a guard center combo, and Munford is a guard tackle kind of a combination, kind of tweener type player, which I mean, we could very well cut Good. We re-signed Illuminor for another year. And I put Parker back here as a backup because I want Munford as our swing guy. That makes sense to me. I've talked about that in the video if you haven't taken a look at that as well. Mariota went to Atlanta to take over when Matt Ryan signed with the Colts. Good luck to him. Honestly, I think he's too brittle to stand a full 17-game season. And then right here is very intriguing. Our other offensive picks were running back. And Zamir White, a power running back, and Brown. Now, Josh Jacobs, we did not exercise this. This is last year. There is a chance we could re-sign him. I highly doubt it. I think if they were probably trying to shop him around during the draft, to be honest with you. But there's no real market for running backs in general nowadays. I hate to say it, they're kind of more of a dime a dozen. Plus, he's had the injury issues, and his numbers have been declining in his 3 years. They've steadily declined. So I think he'll be here for us for one more season, and then Zamir's going to take over that top spot. Britton Brown is a very intriguing pick, 7th round pick, another between the tackles kind of bruiser pick. You can check out my video. I got the link in the description if you want that. I think both these guys are going to stay on here, as well as Jacobs and Drake for this season, which means probably Amir Abdul is going to be gone. Brandon Boland's probably going to be staying, of course, because he knows the Patriot system, playing with Josh Daniels before. And then we signed a couple backup players. Nothing else really standing out as far as the offense goes, other than we still don't know this. This is my prediction. We don't have anything firm as far as how the offensive line is really going to shake out, but we did get a lot of versatility, and that's what the new regime was talking about. So they were right up to their word. Now let's talk about some undrafted free agents, UDFAs. I'm not going to go through all these guys. These are guys who are eligible for the draft. They were not drafted. If you don't know, there's 7 rounds in the draft. And, you know, these guys were not drafted. A few of these I want to talk about. Justin Hall and Trey Turner. These are 2 guys completely different. One's like 6'2", the other one's like 5'9". Very, very small, though, very skinny. Even the 6'2" guy only weighs like 170 pounds. But they run like a 4.5 40. So I'm thinking maybe possible returners here. And I talked about this before, I believe in the last live stream, that I want Hunter Renfrow away from punt returning like forever, especially when we give him his extension. I don't want him being damaged. He's much more valuable in the slot. A couple other guys, Myron Tungavailoa-Amosa. Yes, he is a cousin of Tua Tagovailoa, or Tua Latin, whoever you want to call him. So I don't know if he was picked up because of that. Same thing with this guy right here, Isaiah Polamau. He is a nephew of Troy Polamalu, Hall of Fame safety great from Pittsburgh Steelers. It doesn't really necessarily translate. You know, you're trying to find some diamonds in the rough. We got a big offensive lineman here. And, you know, just a few things. The other one I want to talk about really is this guy right here, Darian Butler, linebacker from ASU. I think he's a little bit too undersized to play linebacker in the NFL. We could use him maybe as a safety, a DB, and some sub packages. What I like about this guy is he's a playmaker. He kind of reminds me of a little smaller version of Nate Hobbs. So that's a very intriguing pick. Again, most of the time, these guys are not going to make it. These are diamonds in the rough. practice squad players. Hopefully you can, find something, hit a home run with some of these guys who weren't even drafted. Now I want to turn it over to you guys. I want to hear what you have to say as far as what you think of the draft, what you think of our roster right now, as far as how things you think are going to shake out. I gave you my opinion, especially on the offensive line. Leatherwood could very well stay at guard, not tackle. But I want to hear what you have to say. So, of course, how are you guys doing out there? I see a few of you already. I'm going to put that right there. So these are some of the other social media outlets that I'm currently on. I opened a TikTok account. I'm going to be doing some player shorts. I've already done those. I put all the draft players on there as well. So if you're a TikTok fan, be on there. Once we get to 1,000 followers in TikTok, we'll also be doing live streams there as well, in concurrence with YouTube live streams as well. So, and then Facebook as well. So let's see. Pretty quiet out in chat. I see that. Not a whole lot of chatter going on tonight. I do appreciate you guys coming out. If you don't really have anything to say, I will talk about one more thing. I want to give you guys a little quick preview. I like to do that with people with my programs. I do other programs as well. If you've noticed the intro, I do some other programs as well. So I like to give a little sneak preview of our next week's live stream, and that's going to be going over the NFL schedule. Now, the NFL schedule, they've kind of teased a few games here and there. They put out the European game schedule. We're not on any of those, so I didn't really talk about that. But the full schedule, including the primetime games, will be out Thursday, May the 12th, and we're going to talk about it next Friday on the 13th. So that's going to be primarily what we do. And if you're not new here, we're going to be doing the same thing we did before. We're going to have our grid up, and we're going to make our predictions. I'm going to make my predictions on wins and losses, because we're going to know every week. We're going to know the home and away. We're going to know if we're playing on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday, where the bye weeks are, and all that. So you guys, I'll say this though. I don't want to brag, but I was a little bit better on those prediction picks last season. I actually hit 10-7. I think you guys were 11-6. You guys kind of faltered down the stretch. You guys were a little bit better than me in the beginning, the first few weeks, but kind of faltered. So you guys need to kind of pick it up a little bit. So if you guys want to talk about that, we can talk about. We know our opponents, but we don't have the week-to-week schedules yet. That's going to be released on Thursday. I'm going to take a look at that, have the show set up for that, and do a show on that. So let's see. I appreciate that, Sandy B. How you doing? Wake up, y'all. Wake up, little Susie. Sometimes it's honestly, it's hit and miss. Sometimes YouTube puts those notifications out, and sometimes they don't. I get a lot of traffic on the posts, so that works. Sometimes they don't. So it is what it is. If we have to end a little bit sooner, that's fine. I already made some dinner, so I will eat after I get out of here, and probably go mod another live stream. So let's see. A lot of laughing. Her daughter's laughing. What are she laughing about? So. Sandy B, you guys have anything else to say? You guys want to talk about anything else? The floor is yours. It's question and answer segment. Let's see. Like I said, there are a few more people in here. I know that what I've noticed is that you get about 50% of the people that are on the live stream participate in the chat, and 50% don't. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's your choice, but I think it makes the live stream and it makes the program a lot better with your guys' involvement. I mean, like I've said this before, I could just make a video and just plop it out there. I want to do live streams to have more interactions, see what you guys have to say as well. So, let's see. See if anybody else wants to say anything. It is 20 minutes. I usually go about an hour with this. I know the subject was a little bit short. I think next week's subject with the schedule is going to be a little bit longer, to be honest with you. Just the program itself before the question and answers. I'm going to guess we'll probably go about 20 to 30 minutes just on that, and then have the question and answer segment. Let's see. Sandy B says, maybe they all saw your other streams. You covered so much on your other channels. Well, yeah, but I didn't kind of put it all together. That's what I wanted to do. So that's why I wanted to see this. I wanted to show the rosters, where we stood with everybody, and my opinion on where people are going to go. I still think Alex Leatherwood's going to be our starting right tackle as of now. I think he's going to have every opportunity to take that spot. And it kind of makes sense that we signed Alex Bars at guard, and we drafted Dylan Parham, who could very well be guard. I think Andre James is probably going to stay at center unless he screws up, and then can put Parham back at guard. But then we'll probably cut Denzel Good, say $4 million. Maybe we can help use that to sign James Bradbury and get under the cap. Let's see. Continue says, heard Hobbs might be on the outside this year. He's right now slated as our slot cornerback. So I don't know if he's good enough to be on the outside. I like him inside on smaller guys. I'm not so sure. I like him inside because I think he's better suited there. And plus we can blitz him more and kind of disguise the blitzes. I want to get Hobbs more involved. That's one thing I would say. Well, not one thing, but one big thing I would say about Gus Bradley. We didn't blitz enough, and I covered that at the end of the year. Even when the first half of the year, we didn't really need to blitz because we had our front four dominating so much and getting so many sacks and pressures. But that kind of waned off in the second half, and Gus Bradley, frankly, didn't adjust to that. And I would really like to see Nate Hobbs in some more blitz schemes, some blitz packaging. I think he can do some disruptions, create some turnovers. I think he's a playmaker. We've seen it in the preseason. We saw a little bit of it during the season, but I want to see a lot more of that. And I think Patrick Graham's going to help him with that, and also Cleve Farrell. I think he's going to be a little bit better. I was a little bit surprised we didn't pick up the extension on Cleve Farrell. I was sure we weren't going to pick up the extension on Jacobson or Abram, but Cleve Farrell kind of made more sense, especially if you want to go to a 3-4. I think he's more of a 3-4 defensive end. He's a bigger kind of guy. He can stop the run, seal off the edge. But that is what it is. So yeah, Hobbs, I think will stay in the slot right now. Let's see. Anybody else have any other questions? Any comments? So like I said, next week, if you are enjoying this, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. That way we get more people here, and YouTube is appeased. You got to send a sacrifice or something to, get them to, push your channel up. It's kind of a little weird, but it is what it is. So go ahead and do that if you are enjoying this. If you're not enjoying this, write down in the comments why. Give me some constructive criticism. I'll take that. That's just fine as well. I see Chevy Silver Raider in here. Appreciate you coming in here. And Chevy writes, I don't think they will fiddle with their line this year. I believe they will keep it the same, but with Denzel back at left guard if he's healthy. Josh McDaniels said he would give Leatherwood the opportunity at right tackle to start. That doesn't mean will earn the job, but he did give it. He did say that, I believe, at the combine meeting. So excuse me. And you could say some of that's coach speak. I don't think that is. I think a lot of this new regime, they kind of told you what they were looking for, especially with the versatility on the offensive line. They did a great job with that. Munford and Parham, I enjoyed that. They got a guy to take over for Jonathan Hankins and Neil Farrell Jr. I could see that. He's got a little bit more pass rush to him than Hankins as well. Again, remember, these are later picks too. A lot of people, you get this and get that. And, Zamir White, we picked him in the 4th round. We didn't have 2 picks. We used our 2 picks for Devontae Adams. So you have to take that into consideration as well. And if we go after Bradbury, I don't know if we're just kind of playing the game, waiting for the Giants to cut him, which to me kind of makes sense. If they can save the money and he's not going to stay on with them, we could definitely use him, especially with the state. Our corners are still thin, in my opinion. We did re-sign Amik Robertson, but again, another smaller guy. We need an outside guy, and I think Bradbury fits the bill. And he's not going to be that expensive. Again, he's scheduled to make $13.5 million this year. Giants can save $10 million on their cap if they cut him. They get $3.5 million dead cap. But I mean, or trade him, and maybe we could make a deal depending on how much the money is. We take some of the money, they take some of the money. You never know. I think he can be massaged enough. It's not a Devontae Adams making $25-30 million. It's doable right now. Sandy B says, remember, hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell, make sure the bell you click on it, you click all so you don't miss any of the notifications. Yeah, that's another thing. When you subscribe and you're on a device like this, like if you have an old one like me, I got a new cover, by the way. So new cover, old phone. But you have to go to your notification or go to your settings and allow notifications on each app, allow notifications on YouTube. Not only that, but hit that bell and click it to all. Then it'll pop up. It'll pop up when I launch it. I usually not launch it the morning of. And then I believe 30 minutes beforehand, it'll launch. And then when I actually go live, it'll launch as well. So you'll get a pop-up. So you won't miss anything. Next week, we're going to be going over the schedule. The schedule comes out on Thursday. We're going to be going over it on Friday. You're going to want to be here. I'm telling you. I said the most exciting ones are the mock drafts. I would say this is number 2. Going over the schedule, doing our predictions. It's a lot of fun. If you ask the other people that were here last season, what we do is we do it right off the bat, and then we do it right before the season, and then we do it again at the bye week, and then we look at it at the end to see how we did. So we have a lot of fun with it. You should join us. Let's see. You guys have anything else you want to say? I'm not so sure Denzel Good's going to be back, though, Chevy. You're saying he's going to go back to the left side. I don't know. Like I said, I believe we could say $4 million on the cap if he goes. And is he going to be back healthy? I know he got hurt that the injury week 1 against Baltimore. He should be okay, but you never know. Plus we bolstered the internal offensive line, so it would not completely shock me if Denzel Good is cut at some point between now and week 1. Especially if you think they're going to keep it the same. Are you saying Brandon Parker is going to be our right tackle next year? I hope not. Oh my goodness, I hope not. Please, because you said I don't think they'll fiddle with the offensive line. So Brandon Parker was the starting right tackle last year. So, well, I mean, once they moved Leatherwood in. So, are you saying it's going to be? So you're saying it's going to be Colton, Denzel Good, Andre James, Leatherwood, and Brandon Parker from left to right? I hope not. I hope not. You've been here long enough. You saw my game reviews where I put the little turnstile on for Brandon Parker. There's a reason for that, because he is a turnstile. He's not that. I mean, he's athletic. He's long, but he's not that powerful. He gets bull rushed like crazy. And he's not quick enough for the speed guys, and he gets holding calls. At best, I could say maybe if Colton gets hurt, heaven forbid, maybe he could work the left side. That's what he did in college. But he's no good on the right tackle. So I'm hoping Leatherwood molds into that. I'm hoping we get something good from the previous regime's first round picks. He's kind of like our last hope. If you look, we didn't extend any of those 3. I want to talk about Henry Ruggs. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's see. 30 minutes in. You guys have anything else? Like I said, if you guys don't want to talk about this, that's fine. We can end it a little bit early. Like I said, I normally go about 60 minutes. Last week I went like an hour and 45 minutes, and that was mainly because we traded down and we were so close to seeing what the pick was. I didn't want to leave. It's like, we got to see what this third round pick ends up being. And then, we got like a couple extra fifth round picks by moving down. Then we kind of traded back up in the fourth round, took those back away. Did a lot of moves. We could talk about that as well. I think overall, the regime did a heck of a job for what they had. Remember, we didn't have the first two picks, but we have a real wide receiver one. I mean, you could argue we haven't had somebody like a true wide receiver one since Tim Brown. I mean, let's be honest here. So it was worth those two picks. Like I said last week, I said Green Bay picked was it Quay Walker, inside linebacker guy, and then they traded the other pick that we gave them, but they ended up with like Christian Watson, I believe. I would rather have Devontae than those two guys, if you look at it that way. So it was a good deal. Chevy says, I think so unless Leatherwood shows up, but I don't want another rookie on the offensive line just yet. Oh my gosh. No. Brandon, I'm telling you, Brandon Parker's on the line. Derek Carr's going to get hit. He's going to create turnovers. All the Carr haters are going to just go with glee and say, why did we sign this guy? He sucks. He might even get hurt. So were we going to have Nick Mullins? He's the Raider killer. No, he lost last year when he started with the Browns. So I don't want to hear that nonsense about it, how he's a Raider killer. He's okay. He's a backup. But do we really want to jeopardize this offense right now? Think about it. I mean, we got Waller. We got to get Hunter re-signed, of course. We got Devontae Adams. Josh Jacobs is still with the team. We're going to get what we normally get out of him, about half a season roughly, But when he's healthy, he plays pretty well. And then you throw Zamir White in there, pounding the ball. I mean, come on. We can't afford to have a friggin' Brandon Parker, throwing a wrench in this offense anymore. This is ridiculous. I don't even know why the guy was re-signed. I'm thinking since Munford dropped down to 7th round, I'm hoping to God that he not only makes the team, but gets rid of Brandon Parker. I mean, he could be a swing guy. Put him in that spot. I think Parker steps up big time this year. I've been waiting. How many years do we have to wait for Brandon Parker? I mean, he was drafted the same year Colton Miller was drafted. Parker was drafted, I believe, in the 3rd round. So that was under the Reggie McKenzie pick. So I've not seen Brandon Parker step up. He gave up. If I looked at the PFF stats, I should make a short. It'd be hilarious. Put it on TikTok. I looked up the PFF stats on Brandon Parker just because, and I think he gave up like 8 sacks and like 20 pressures or something. It was just something outrageous. He needs to step up on another team. He needs to go away. He should have. I have no idea why he was even starting last year. If anything, if he's going to be that crappy, might as well put Leatherwood there and let him take his lumps. Why have Brandon Parker there? I don't see it. I don't see what Tom Cable saw in him. I don't see what this new regime saw in him to re-sign him. That was just like, what? That was like a head scratcher from hell. I know he can play the left side and it's important, but now we have Munford, so he can be cut in training camp now. That's the way I see it. So, yeah, I think I've said enough about Brandon Parker. So, and Leatherwood didn't look that good at guard, to be honest with you. A lot of holding penalties. Oh, AFA! I'm not reading that. Yeah, we know you like the Kansas City Chiefs. We know that. How are you doing? I'll say this. Since you guys are here and Hefe is here, I wanted to do it, but I wanted to go over the Raider stuff first. And then the schedule's next week. The week after that, I'm planning on updating my AFC West rivals. And we're going to go through that. And I'm going to go through what the Chiefs did in the draft. And, to be honest, I thought the Chiefs were reeling before the draft. But they had a pretty good draft this year. And I'll go over that in detail in 2 weeks. So we're going to do the schedule next week. And then go over our AFC West rivals the week after and see how they did in the draft and see what I think their rosters are going to shake out to be. Yeah. Kansas City did pretty well in the draft. That's not a popular opinion in Raider Nation, but I mean, I tell the truth. Did Elon Musk buy the Chiefs yet? Well, he's bought everything else, right? Well, maybe he'll send Patrick Mahomes in a car to Mars. That would be a good idea. Elon Musk could do that if he buys the Chiefs. Put a 1 in the chat if you want him to send Patrick Mahomes to Mars. He said he's going to burn that dump. Elon can't afford the Chiefs. He bought Twitter for $44 billion. And the Chiefs, I mean, they're in Kansas City misery. I mean, you could probably get them for a 6-pack of beer and, set him up for a date with his sister. That'd probably work. Egalitarian 207, what's up to you? How are you doing? I see you out here. Once across the board for Sandy B. Put him in that Tesla and put Patrick Mahomes. It was a red car, wasn't it? It'll match. You could put Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure they get another red Tesla. Put him in there. Put the little astronaut suit on him. I'd say you put Andy Reid in there, but he might not fit in the seat. So let's see. Hefe says KC. Our Chiefs are an oil company. What does that mean? Oil's doing good these days. Well, they were the Dallas Texans. They weren't the Oilers. So how about that? No, but you would buy the football franchise. It doesn't matter what the Hunt family's doing with their money. I'll buy that nonsense. The Chiefs would be valued based on the acquisition. How many oil stocks you got, Hefe? How many oil stocks do you have, Hefe? Spit it out right now. You guys, I swear. All right, let's see. All right, we are at about the 40-minute mark. I'm going to remind you one more time. If you are enjoying this, I know it's a little bit short, give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm and helps the YouTube gods bless people. I mean, to even give notifications, And if you are enjoying this and you're new, or if you're watching this on replay, why not subscribe? Hit the bell notification, set it to all. Again, if you're watching it on one of these, even an old one like this, you have to set your notifications on your phone. I know it's a pain in the butt, but that's how YouTube is. Once you do that, the minute I put something out for a live stream that day, you're going to get a notification. You will not miss any of this. And again, next week we're doing the schedules. We're going to have the grid back like I did last year. We're going to have every single week. We're going to have home and away, the dates. If it's Monday Night Football, primetime, whatever. I doubt we're playing on Thanksgiving again. We had the Thanksgiving game last year against the Cowgirls. But we're going to go through that, and I'm going to give you my predictions. Then I want your predictions, just like we did last year, and we're going to see how we do. Hopefully you guys can redeem yourself last year. I beat you guys. I got to say it. Hope you guys redeem yourself. So, let's see. Sandy B says, it's going to be a good year. Hefe, hold on to your Chiefs socks. Okay. It's going to be a Wild Wild West, and I did a video on that. I did the original one. We're going to follow up on that with the draft picks in 2 weeks. So next week is the schedule. 2 weeks. We're going to look at our AFC West rivals and see what we can exploit from them. I do thank you guys for all coming out here. I appreciate you guys coming out here, chatting with me. If it's not for you guys, there is no channel here, okay? That's the bottom line. So thank you very much for coming out. And as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something, with all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.